back, everybody. It's Chat Havers. Let's make a conversation. With us tonight, John Cullen. Hello. What's up?
Hello. Dude? Hello, Luke. Hello, chat. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your beautiful couch.
Well, thank you so much, John. And I know you are remote, but I do like to put the guests on the couch so they still kind of feel like they're part of it. You know what I mean?
Like, and I do.
Like, yeah.
I feel very welcomed. I feel very much a part of it. I am resisting the urge to already correct some of the incorrect facts that are happening about curling in your chat.
Interesting.
And I'm just here to be a friend of the show,
I guess. And what I would like to say, John, is this is I'm going to call it a no holds barred conversation about curling. I don't want any crumbs left on the table. I want you to serve. I want you to slay. You know, if these fucking if these yokels, these dumbasses come in with some incorrect knowledge, I mean, you are to me certainly the foremost expert on curling that I know, and I would argue worldwide you do probably know. You're in the top percentage of people who just know about curling. Would you say that's true?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. And so in that case, Get a Whale, sounds like they're from St. John's, Newfoundland. Thank you so much for being here. But Brad Gajou was not the first curling Olympic gold medalist. That was actually Patrick Hurleman in 1998. So
nice job, Get a Whale. You canceled. Yeah. Strike one. And if you get 3 strikes, you got to get the fuck out of the conversation tonight.
You're out.
That's the rules when it's curling night. Welcome, Go Off Kings.
Hello, Go Off Kings. And yes, Jakey Chains, Luke was, you're talking about me being a foremost curling expert. Luke was a number 1 BP guest, and we will be having Luke back on soon. So.
Anytime, of course. I had a great time. I had a wonderful time. I love to share my story. And I've gotten word that Stefan told my story about about looking at porno with the Geek Squad guy.
Yeah,
and
he stole your valor.
That was fucked up. You're gonna steal my fucking pithy anecdote, dude, for your podcast? Yeah. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and he's in here. He's in the chat right now. Yeah. I know he told me he was looking forward to watching the stream tonight. So you know what? Give him some shit. Well, I'm clapping back, and I think you should clap back too. Let's just fucking go off. Let's truly go off. These guys call themselves the Go Off Kings. I think it's me and you, dude.
Yeah, it's oddly low energy stream for 2 guys that call themselves the Go Off Kings. You know what I'm talking about?
That is a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, they love to just sit around there. Oh, guess what? Our stream's so cool because we bought some shitty costume off of Amazon. Yeah,
and we bought
that's
followers.
Real interesting.
And we bought viewers.
Great job. Yeah.
And we bought followers and viewers. You know that, right? They're view botting like crazy on that. It's nuts.
Dude, it's the amount of money going out of the Go Off Kings account to some suspect foreign accounts, buddy. Mm-hmm. We've got our best people on it.
Pornhub.
Yep.
Etc.
Etc. There's a lot of porno stuff.
You could actually see the price of Chatterbait tokens go up and down based on how many people are viewing the Go Off Kings stream. That's such a 1-to-1 comparison. I'm just kidding, folks. Of course, I love those boys so goddamn much, and I got to imagine.
I'm not kidding. I'm
John's
serious.
Not kidding. Okay, yeah. You've known them both for longer than me, so you have sort of more goodwill. I gotta say, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Stefan, sir. Whatever you say, sir. So I'll just make sure of that. Now we're talking.
I'll send you another picture of my feet, Stefan. Yes, whatever you want, Mr. Stefan.
So you want to join the crew, do you, Luke? Well, little Steffi's gonna need something in return, and I know what that fucking means. feet tithe, just like the Catholic Church. In more ways
that's
than one.
Right.
Well, we're talking about curling tonight.
Yeah.
If you can believe it. What's up, Paisley Fontaine? And I do want to shout out one thing. It took me 2 years of fucking doing this. I finally added sub badges to the channel. If you can believe it, John.
They look good. I like the little cactus there, I think is what.
Yeah, it's a little cactus. Yeah. They're all little shapes and little sort of backgrounds from the show. I mean, I had a lot of fun making those today.
They look great. They look great, and I have seen people in the chat already saying how much they liked them. So that's a nice little token for your subs, your little pay pigs.
I think it's worth the money, and that's about all you're fucking getting. So take it and enjoy it. That's all. That's what I keep telling them.
That's
We're
right.
gonna have. Well, Luke, unfortunately, I'm gonna have a replacement keyboard until tomorrow. Okay, you're slinking. Then maybe don't try typing again, because your keyboard was broken last stream and it was tough. It was tough to.
Yeah,
It's
that
a.
shit looks fucked up.
It
Looks like
looks
their
fucked
keyboard
up.
is in the mud. It is right in the mud.
Okay, what is the Minecraft is a snowman, and then the blue one is a shell. So that's kind of beautiful, if I
That is
remember
beautiful.
correctly. That's kind of
Yeah.
beautiful, isn't it? And once you see it, I'm sure you won't be able to look away. Welcome, Infinite Joy. Now,
Hello,
John,
Finite Joy.
we're talking curling tonight.
Yep.
I got a question. This is the question that I said when we were talking before. I said I wanted to save, and because it was making me laugh so much. So we'll
Okay.
start with this. Are there any bad boys of curling?
Well, Luke, funny you asked the question because you're talking to one of them.
Oh shit! Damn.
Oh
dude.
shit, baby. I went to jail over curling, dude. No, there are bad boys of curling, yes. So I'll tell you there's a couple different stories, but I would say the sort of preeminent bad boy of curling was this guy who played in the sort of 70s, 80s. His name was Paul Gausel.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things he did that I would say is kind of one of the most badass things that anyone in curling has ever done is he was playing in a curling tournament. We call that a bonspiel.
Uh-huh.
He was playing in a bonspiel, and he was upset with his opponents playing slowly.
Uh-huh.
They were taking a lot of time. Because some curling events have time clocks and some do not. So this event did not have time clocks. Opponents are taking a long time. So what he did, Luke, was he ordered a pizza to be delivered to the ice and then ate it while the team was taking too long to like decide what shot they were going to throw. Yeah.
John, you have to know. That's the most Canadian idea of what a bad boy is I could possibly imagine.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
What? He ordered a pizza to the ice. Oh my god!
That's right. People still talk about it. He's like
Wow.
recreated the incident a few different times.
Really? So it's
Yeah.
that's sort of his thing. So it's yeah. Well, I guess when I was thinking bad boys, I guess I was thinking like Michael Vick training all those dogs to fight. But that'll work too, John. That'll really work too.
We so far anyway, curling has been devoid of dog rings and other animal fighting rings, but we did have there was actually a Canadian Paralympic curler who was popped for bringing pills over the border.
Really?
And went to prison. So I don't know if that counts as like a bad boy or not, but if that's something you're looking to, if that's your idea of a bad boy,
well, it depends
went
what
to
the
jail.
pills were for, doesn't it? Because it could have been life-saving medication, but these
they were
fucking-
boner pills, I believe.
Really? Well, it's life-saving in a way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He who does
Save a
not
marriage,
come-
save a life.
Save a marriage, save a life. Exactly. And is anyone ever? And my follow-up to this is: has anyone ever been caught doping in professional curling?
Yes, there was actually a doping scandal at this year's Scotties Tournament of Hearts, which is the Canadian Women's Championship.
Whoa.
It was actually one of the members of the defending champions was popped for a steroid, and she is planning to defend against this by using the bodily contact defense. So she is saying that she did not willingly take the banned substance, but that she got it through bodily contact, I guess, with her husband.
Like
So,
cops when they touch fentanyl.
yes, something similar to that. Exactly. Yeah, with maybe a little less kind of like shaking and choking and things of that nature. Yeah.
And instead, it's just playing curling way better.
Yeah, it's a Canadian tradition though. Like I don't know if you know the story of Sean Barber, Luke.
I do not.
So Sean Barber was a Canadian pole vaulter, and it was before the Rio Olympics. He was a little nervous the night before his pole vault. So he tested positive for cocaine, and then his defense was that he had hired a sex worker the night before his pole vault because he was nervous about the big meet.
Right.
And so he utilized the services of a sex worker, and then the sex worker did actually testify on his behalf in sports court and said, like, yeah, I had sex with him and I was on cocaine, and they let him off.
Yeah, it's total bullshit, right? I mean, he was definitely doing probably like at least a little bit. I'm not saying he did a ton, you know what I mean? But you got to imagine.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit to keep you going. I mean, you got to be pretty dumb to get popped for cocaine because it's out of your system, I believe, within like 18 hours or
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah, and he was doing it really, I mean, quite literally the night before, and maybe a little bit into the morning. It's interesting because now, and John, I mean, would you call yourself at one point a semi-professional athlete?
yeah, I would say that my team at our peak we were ranked number 25 in the world.
That sounds professional, then, man.
Yeah, there's just not enough money in curling to be professional. So it's like
Right.
I had a day job at the same time that I was also on the
Right.
25th
Right.
ranked team in the world. So
Sure.
I guess
Totally.
that's where the gap is between, professional or semi-professional or whatever.
Now, I swam competitively. I swam competitively through high school,
Oh,
and
nice. Okay.
there was a similar sport that it only really matters around an Olympics. I would say they have that in common,
Yep.
curling and swimming. And I would say there was a adage that our coach would often say, and I wonder if it applies to curling based on these two stories you told me. I know it was about pole vaulters, but lose your speed, lose your seed, lose your speed. Have you ever heard that before?
Mm. I haven't, but I'm guessing it's related to don't come. You gotta keep your
Yes.
come inside to be
Yep.
a good swimmer.
Yes, my coach would always say that once or twice.
This is your high school coach would tell
Yeah.
you not to lose
Yeah.
your seed.
Yeah, and I haven't. You put it. Just from the tone of voice alone, putting it through a lens that I haven't really thought of it before. But yes, that is what he said. It was an all boys preparatory school, and that's what he said to us. Doesn't make it
Wow.
better. Doesn't make it better. But do you
No, it
think
doesn't
there's
help. Doesn't help. You would think though that it would kind of like I sort of think of like I don't know if this is how you feel when you jack off, but generally I feel like it's kind of a weight lifted off of my balls. It's sort of a like, ooh, okay, I'm empty. Like I almost feel like you'd swim faster without it.
right?
You don't want your balls all fucking jammed up a cum, and then you got to try to be like a rudder down there while you're trying to swim.
Well, I mean, you see, I'm torn on this because John, I really see where you're coming from. Literally, man. Sorry, I had to say that. Come on. But at the same time, there is something about at that age. I think I don't know where the science is at on it, but you have all these all this stuff that's in the cum that makes you so strong.
Right.
The
Right.
chemicals, the endorphins, the pheromones, and you want to
Yeah.
keep that shit off if you're gonna do a fucking 200 backstroke fast as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to keep that in there. Yeah. Now, did you follow the coach's advice? Like, did you think
No,
at the
never.
time, like, this is good? Okay.
I'd say
You
I
were
was pretty
still,
much addicted to jacking off as a teenager, and it was completely impossible for me to not do it at least once every day, if not more times. And I
Right,
didn't care
okay.
enough about swimming to really care about that. You know what I mean?
right. I see.
Yeah.
That's when you kind of knew, like, you know what? This isn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm probably not. If what it takes is not nutting, then I'm out probably.
Yeah, it was that, and I remember vividly like one Christmas break where we were doing 2-a-day practices, one at 6 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. And I was like, I wanted to go kind of just like hang out with my friends and play video games, and I realized being a collegiate swimmer was not in the cards for old Luke.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Were you ever like? Was there ever a time when you were doing it in high school where you thought that might have been a realistic path, or was it just sort of you joined the team for fun, you never got that good at it, and then you're done, and then you were done?
Well, I swam competitively most of my childhood
Oh,
as
okay.
well. So it was just kind
Okay.
of the only like sports because I was a chunky kid and my parents kind of made me do it, but I was pretty good at it. And then that fall, sophomore year of high school was like, oh, I like hit the puberty that makes you like way faster and stronger. And
Okay.
I was like, oh, I was starting to get good, and then I lost it all over winter break because I started smoking weed and basically being chill as fuck. So sorry about that, coach.
Yeah,
And I
you had
didn't
to be. You were too cool. You were just
I was
you.
too
You,
cool,
you had
man.
too much cool shit going on.
Yeah, I'm so glad that
Yeah.
I smoked a bunch of weed in high school instead of getting a scholarship for swimming. Yeah, that was really, as I look back on my life, I'll say that was worth it. You know what I mean? I say that was good.
Just remember all the good times you had
Yeah.
playing Madden 09 or whatever
Yeah,
instead of swimming.
yeah. Those were the days. Playing a lot of Halo 3. I mean,
Yeah.
God, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Yeah,
Have a cum,
absolutely.
now you're dumb. That's good, Chrome. See, now, and I would say that to that point, I think if you came before a big test, that would help you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, just kind of because then you're not thinking about sex during the test.
Right.
You're
Which
you're
you're
just you're
always doing.
focused.
Right.
Yeah, if you're just sitting in a chair for like 3 hours in an exam hall, at
Yeah.
some point you're gonna think about fucking. No question about
John,
it.
can I ask you something personal that was a matter of
may.
discussion? And you don't have to answer this. This is, I don't know. I mean, we're sort of new friends. And I don't really know. This is your type of humor or your type of sort of line of questioning. But I was getting.
I do a podcast with Stefan, Luke. We're
okay. Fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough. I said on stream the other day, I said there were a few times throughout my career as a student that I jacked off at school. And I would say the people were pretty split between some people saying, yeah, I did that probably like once or twice, to people saying, that's crazy. I would never do that. Where do you stand on this?
I would the latter, I believe.
Yeah.
I've never jacked off in a like school and or work scenario. Because I've heard of that. Like I had a buddy growing up who was like, oh yeah, every time I'm at work, I just like jack off in like the work toilet or whatever. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy to me. But yeah, so I never like school, work, and never for me. Never did that.
Really? Yeah, no, I mean, maybe that is the divide. It's not so much about school. It's just, yeah, because I got to be honest, you said that. I've certainly jacked off it probably at least a few times at every single job I've ever had in the bathroom.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never for me. But I mean, I guess technically I work from home now, so I do jack off at work when I'm at home. But yeah, no, I never did that. I guess I did though. I did go through because I grew up in the era of non-moving porno.
Right.
Like my first porno experiences were porno mags.
Right.
So I can definitely remember like kids I went to school with. This would probably be like grade 7 or grade 8, bringing porno mags to school, and we would look at them in the bathroom. But I never jacked off after. But I have consumed porno in my school's bathroom, if that counts for something.
So you've looked at it, you just haven't done the deed. I'll also say I know the auto mod is fucked up right now. I had to set it up for a special thing happening in May that I can't talk about right now, but I had to set it up per the rules of this thing. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's anytime the people. Okay, we got a call coming in. Are you ready to field some
Oh
questions
yeah,
about curling?
Let's talk to a caller.
And if it's not about curling,
you're out of here.
You're fucked. Yeah. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what are you calling about?
What's up? It's Krem.
What's up, dude?
Hey,
what's up, dog?
I need to address something that's been going off in the chat, and it's really important to me. And I think it's you guys form one Adidas person. You guys have the same shirt.
How did you pronounce it?
I'm not sure.
Did you say Adidas?
It's a Adidas. Yeah.
Adidas, man. Okay. Adidas. Adidas.
Wow, going with the old like the German, because it's named after the guy's name is like Adi Dassler, right? So then there are some people who are like, well, it's Adidas, but then
his brother was famously a former SS officer who founded Puma.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Hugo Boss, also. Former SS thing. Yeah.
Luke, can we get you to stand behind the box? And
you want to make a full? You want to make
because
I should point out, by the way, this Adidas shirt I'm wearing is the Adidas Corn shirt. I don't know if you can see that on
sick.
the.
Damn, they made a corn shirt.
This is awesome. I love this.
Okay, there we go. Is that?
No,
that's kind of about as good as we can get.
John, can we get you back a little bit, maybe up, so we can really see how?
Oh, so you wanted to go like a full?
Yeah.
I just ran over my headphones. Sorry.
This is awesome.
Okay.
What the hell am I looking at now? This is half.
My headphones got all fucked up.
You look like you're self-sucking right now. Okay.
Come on.
Okay, here we. Oh,
all right.
Go over. There we
This
go.
is awesome. Yes.
This is cool.
This is streaming.
Now this is
streaming.
Well, that's great, Krem. And so, how is this about curling?
Oh God. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for calling
Thanks
in,
for coming.
Krem.
Yep.
Ah,
Wow. They
you
really
know-
like that. They really like that in the chat, Luke. That was.
I know,
think
I know,
that
they
was the
went
high point of
crazy.
the stream so far.
It definitely not any of the fucking hilarious fucking shit we've been saying, but just us sort of moving our bodies like what the little game you play when you're a kid, where you fucking fold the paper and draw one. The kids that are good at drawing show the kids that are bad at drawing just how outclassed they are. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Krem, for your call.
Thank you, Krem.
All right, we got another call.
Oh,
Seemingly.
wow.
I mean, look at this, right?
People are banging whenever you say you're going to talk about curling, people start banging the line.
No,
Luke.
I know. I mean, this could be a rare time for the curling heads to finally get
True.
the famed John Cullen pinned down enough to ask their biting curling questions.
I'm ready. I'm
All
ready.
right. Hello, caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and what are you calling about?
Hello, I'm Veronica Scars. I'm calling about curling.
Yes. Hi, Veronica. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, I was gonna also cover for Creme de la Creme because I wore Adidas when I curled, so it kind of
When you
does
curled,
connect.
okay, tell us more before you ask your question, Veronica. When you curled, tell us more about this.
Please.
Yes. Sorry, so I don't really have a question. I was just calling in to say that I did curl when I was in high school. All through high school, I was on the curling team, the high school
Where?
curling team, in Sarnia, Ontario.
Oh, home of the Sting.
Yes, home of the Sing.
Wow, very nice. And
Yeah.
did you play competitively? Were you just in like a high school league? Tell us a little more here.
Just high school league, nothing competitive. Didn't get into that. Yeah, and also I was like on the B team and not the A team, but
Mhm.
I was asked to be on the A team, but I was like, no, too much pressure, and I was like hot shit on the B team. Like my
Right,
team
and they
was
on the
so
B
good.
team they would let you jack off.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be
Yeah,
the J
exactly.
team, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the sauna after every match.
That's
Your
great,
high
Veronica.
school, wait. Your high school at a sauna?
No, we played at a golf and curling club in
Okay,
town,
okay.
and it had a sauna. Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Damn, that's
thought-
nice. Was it a private curling club then, or was it a public but just attached to a golf course?
It was private, but they just let us play. The high school kids were allowed to play there.
Wow, hot damn. So that's why they had the sauna. What other cool shit did they have there at the private club?
That's basically it.
That's
they
it,
just had
okay.
just a steam sauna.
I guess if it's a
else.
private club in Sarnia, you can't. The expectations cannot be that high.
Yeah, there's no pool, no hot tub, just
Okay.
a bar, and that was it.
Yeah,
You're
that
saying
sounds
kind of
right.
like to the yokels up there, probably a sauna felt like, that was their first sauna they had ever seen, kind of a thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
all right.
kind of my lean on Sarnia. Do you still live in Sarnia?
Yes, I do.
Oh shit, that's too bad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine. I moved away for a bit, and now I'm back.
And now you're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I mean, that's I have actually never been to Sarnia. I grew up in Ontario. I moved to Vancouver when I was 13, but I somehow have never made it out to Sarnia, to the great whatever they call it. What's Sarnia's great thing? The great
Sauna
The great
place.
Chemical Valley.
sauna. Yeah, the great whatever. Yeah.
The Great Chemical Valley, where
Chemical
we all
Valley.
get sick. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, it's one
Oh,
of those
shit.
places where it's so
Yeah.
rural that the companies just dump stuff there.
Well, it's not rural. We're right on the border with Port Huron, Michigan. So
Oh.
it's like so we're right on the border. So I guess the Blue Water Bridge is another big thing of us that we're known for.
Oh,
So,
shit.
yeah.
I went over that bridge. Yeah.
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 So a lot of people probably have driven through Sarnia, but not
Right.
stopped. Mhm.
So your biggest thing is a bridge.
Yes, the biggest thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the way to leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like
How
we're
to
sort
get
of
out
most known for
Canada.
how to get out of here. It's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
That Krem is right. I am very bad at geography. I basically I don't know where a single place you've named is, I would say. And I've been to Vancouver and I still don't really know where it is.
It's on the west coast of Canada, Luke. I don't know if that helps you, but
Oh, I haven't been to Vancouver. I've been to Toronto.
Okay, well they're very far away. I don't know if you know that, but famously sort of like about 3,000 miles apart actually. So.
I think we went, okay, tell me if this makes sense. I think we went up through where Niagara Falls is to Toronto, and then we went over and then over that bridge down to Detroit. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, but that's not the same bridge Veronica is talking about. That's the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor that you're talking about.
Then I've never been to I've never been to in my life.
Yep.
Multiple bridges out of Canada. Is that necessary?
Well, it is when a lake is in the way, I guess.
Yeah,
Yep.
all right.
Got a big body of water in the way.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Got to get over there somehow. It's a ferry or a bridge,
Now, Veronica, if you could ask famed curling expert John Cullen any one thing about curling, what would it be?
Okay. Do you drag your knee on the ice?
No. I don't know if you heard the part of the conversation where I talked about being really good at curling, but I don't drag my knee on the ice. But thank you for asking.
Okay.
No, I'm a straight. It's a straight lunge. Actually, Luke. I mean, I think there is video of me on YouTube curling.
Really?
If you I don't know if you have the ability to play that on here, but you could give Veronica a little look at what it looks like when I'm sliding.
Let's see. We can get a little taste.
I'll shoot you the link here. I'll find it for you because you wouldn't probably know how to find it.
Well, hopefully you're winning. I mean, I assume you're probably gonna say good stuff.
Did we win this game? I don't know. Here, let me get you a timestamp of me throwing. Okay, here we go. This is
you're throwing it in Discord.
This is right here. I'll throw it in Discord for you. Okay. There you go. Okay. I think I timestamped it properly as well, so you can get a look at me sliding here. This is probably the first video of someone's curling on Twitch. Actually, that's not true. In pandemic, I did a whole series of people.
Oh shit! I mean, this is wow. Belair Direct sponsored this. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that was the insurance company that sponsored them. This is the men's provincial championships.
Okay, hold on. Wait 1 sec. I gotta grab it. Provincial.
Actually, we do lose this game, I think, but you'll still get to see me slide anyway.
I mean, I'd love if you could kind of break down like what the fuck is. Also, this is a legit question: is curling more of a team sport or is it because I saw there was solo curling as well? No.
No, there's not solo curling.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
I thought a thing where it was like, okay, no, but it's like you do the throwing and the brooming, and then you switch off with a partner. No.
Yeah. So there is mixed doubles curling, which is maybe what you're thinking of, and then there's four person curling as well. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Luke, have you seen Cullen's Venus for Man testimonial video? No, I haven't.
Okay, that's not me.
All right, let's check this shit out.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think this is. I'm about to throw here.
So then the thrower. Let's be real.
So it looks like both teams have actually elected to run things
up
and down the east for the first end here.
I hate when we guess wrong.
That's me. Yeah, 6 years ago. I look a lot better than.
All week we've seen both of these teams.
Yeah, this is a classic, just a classic made shot right there.
Again,
easy hit,
right
on the nose. Yeah.
The winner going on till tomorrow.
So there you go. There's a good look. That was about me about 25 pounds ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you're not. I mean, you were a pro.
I was a pro. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. I looked certainly better when I was doing swimming all the time.
Yeah,
hey, man, don't beat yourself up. You got a beautiful body. No way around it. And here's
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I also want to know about this. Okay, wait. So beautiful throw. Now I got to imagine the guy's fucking throwing the fucker. That's like, I mean, the broom guys are fucking basically lackeys compared to that.
Well,
right?
this is a common misconception, Luke, is actually everybody does both. So I played lead. So you throw 8 rocks in an end. We're talking 4-person curling right now. So you have 4 guys on the team. You have 8 rocks per end. Everybody throws 2. So I was the lead. I would throw 2 rocks, and then I would sweep the next 6. So yeah, everybody does both.
Oh shit! Damn, that is crazy. I was trying to think of something about like throwing cocks and sweeping dicks, but I couldn't come up with it fast enough. So I'm sorry.
We still got another like at least hour on here. So I
Yeah.
think if you just think about it for a while, you
I'll
can probably
think
get there.
of it. All right, Veronica, I'll let you go. I won't make you sit here while I workshop a curling dick joke. So thank you for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
Veronica. You too.
That's great.
That was a good call.
That was a good call. We'd love to see the curlers come out tonight.
Yeah,
I'm trying
I
to
agree.
think if there's any sport that's only popular in the U.S. that's not popular anywhere else that is like equivalent to curling. Do you know any?
Shooting people in public, and let's
Hey,
just
that's
shut it
fine.
down
Hey,
right
come
there.
on, man.
And let's
We don't-
just shut it down
Come
right
on,
there.
man. We may have started the trend, but God knows guys all over the world are picking it up. New Zealand, England. I know Canada. You probably got a few of your own at this point,
Yeah.
statistically.
We do. No, we do. We got a few. We
Come
got a few of our
on.
own. We
Yeah,
do.
like-
Yeah. I would say actually. Yeah. There's some people saying in the chat like cornhole. I mean, I think people play that, but not. There's no competitive
It's
cornhole
not in the Olympics.
anywhere else. But football, I think, has got to be up there. Like it's not. Again, it's played in other places, but it's really just an American sport. I would say.
Yeah,
Football.
only one country is willing to sacrifice young men's brains for the beautiful sport of football, and you got to give
That's
it up.
correct.
Yeah, other countries in this fucked up world say, no, we got to make sure those guys don't go fucking nuts Chris Benoit style when they hit 50, but not us. We say, let them have it. Not our problem after we get that sweet brain juice out of them, smashing into the other guys.
Benoit's Canadian. It's.
I
classic.
know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I mean, that's probably where they got the idea. Well, is there a pro wrestling scene in Canada? I bet there is, right?
Oh yeah,
there must
absolutely,
be.
absolutely.
Because it's big in the Midwest here. Like I think of it as almost like, I mean, it's everywhere, of course, but I think of it like the Midwest as being a big hotbed of it, which is
Right.
similar to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, Canada Canada has a bunch of independent federations. Actually, Vancouver has quite a good wrestling scene at the moment. Right now, there's like a couple different federations that are kind of popping off there. Of course, Calgary, where I live, famous home of Stampede Wrestling, which is where all the Hart brothers got their start. And there's definitely a lot of good wrestling and wrestlers in Canada for sure.
Man, I don't know if you ever come to LA. There's the luchador leagues will come up and do like expo matches up here, and it's so fucking sick. And it's like some of the biggest guys have, like very much like they're trying to get it that style bigger up here, so that they'll like bring all the like biggest ones, and it's fun as fuck. It's fun as fuck. The flipping.
Dude.
The flapping. One time I knew this girl in Chicago that dated a pro wrestler who did like indie leagues out there. I think he was an AEW guy as well. But she told me the story of one time he brought her to this like underground wrestling match where it was still like pro wrestling, but there weren't anyone kind of stopping them from like slamming light bulbs over each other's heads and like hitting each other with nails and shit. So it's like people were getting real hurt and also bleeding everywhere. And it was in like the rec center of a school in suburban Chicago. And I've always thought about how much I'd love to see that. Any amount of money in the world.
Yeah, definitely. We want to see the least skilled people do it if possible.
Yeah. Did curling ever get you laid? And John, you answered yes. I mean, if you're gonna say it in the fucking chat, I'm gonna call it up.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about that?
Well, someone.
Speak on
Okay,
that.
so someone here did say there are no Bonspiel bunnies, which I would say is probably also incorrect. Not that I ever. It was never like a fan or whatever, but like other curlers. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like when you do comedy and you go, "Oh, great, I get to hook up with comedians. How awesome is that?" And then you're on the same show together, and you go, "Well, that was a bad idea. I wish I hadn't." done that."
Yeah, that's basically exactly it. Then you see them at every tournament for the rest of time, and you go, "Oh, yeah."
You gotta have a lot in common just by nature of the thing you do, and then.
Yep.
There's only so many
much
stand-up showcases in Chicago, even though it's a big city, and you end up in the same room a lot, way more than you ever thought you would, because you didn't even think you were that close to that person,
And luckily for me, Luke, I've had both of those experiences, both with curling and doing stand-up. So
now
very
okay,
cool, very cool shit.
What was worse, the awkwardness after curling tournaments, or the awkwardness with stand-up? I know the answer already, but I'll let you answer.
Yeah, you know the answer.
yeah,
It's
stand
stand
up.
up by, and it's not even close. I mean, we're not even in the same.
Because I imagine you're not dealing with as many like very blatant but undiagnosed by a doctor personality disorders in curling.
100%. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of the issue with stand up, and then also with curling too. It's not like you might be in the same curling club, but you're not necessarily around them the whole time. Whereas like if you're doing a show with someone, you're just in the green room together. Like you're never forced into like a small space with someone you might have a questionable history with.
Right. And then you're both sort of different levels of like nervous or pissed off because you did well or good. I mean, it really just depends. Yeah, it's a beautiful art form, and I think in many ways, John, both of us are modern day philosophers.
That's kind of how I've always approached comedy. You know, it's sort of, in this sort of day and age where you see, newspapers and other traditional media shutting down left and right. It's kind of like, who's left to tell the truth? Who's left to give the objective story? And that's kind of how I see it. And it's sort of the sort of ethos of my comedy is just, I got to be honest to myself and to the audience.
And I'll tell you how I see comedy. I don't judge a show based on how many laughs I get. I judge a show based on how many people in the audience I signed up to vote before my set is done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
I used to be. Look, I'll say this, and you're probably in a similar boat to me. I used to be a mailing list guy, right? It was like, hey, you come out to my show. If you like my set, sign up for my mailing list.
Right.
And now that I've kind of gotten older, I think I've sort of really just thought about how selfish that is, my mailing list, why would I be signing people up for my mailing list when I can get them to sign up to vote or to combat climate change, or just anything of that nature. Right. And so that's kind of what my sole focus now is. Let's really get people kind of changing how they live at the comedy show they're trying to have fun at.
Yeah, I believe in a world where there's no breaks. I think all entertainment should have some educational value, and I don't think there should be any breaks from the constant struggle we have against our fellow man and the world around us. And I like to bring that to every set I do. So thank you for
I think that's important. I think people will say, I want to go out and I want to just have a laugh tonight.
Yeah.
I could really use a laugh.
Shut the fuck
up. And to me, it's. We could all use a laugh, but how the fuck can you laugh with what's going on out there right now,
Mm-hmm. Now, Stangtron says the Fall Guy trailer goes hard before watching Luke's stream. That's one of my moderators, so that's my mod telling me in real time they don't even subscribe to the channel that they moderate.
That's tough.
Which is tough. It's tough to see. It really is. It's hard to see. You know what I mean? I can't, I guess I can't make them subscribe, but you would expect, you know what I mean? You would think of anyone to subscribe. Maybe the people that sort of are there regularly,
You would think because, they would sort of see firsthand all the hard work you're doing to support democracy and climate change. And they're not even willing to help you out a little bit on that. I think that's the hardest part of it for me. I think sometimes we think too much about the artist and not enough about the art.
Or the audience, because I think sometimes I think the audience really needs to, if they don't understand something and they don't laugh, you really gotta go back and explain it to them. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm always doing. Now,
somebody asked me if I subscribe. Thank you, Tanner. Welcome back. 15 months. That's how you get. If you want, John, I don't know how often you're on this fucking platform, but that's how you get fucking subs. You fucking call people out by name in the chat and you shade them, and then they say they either nut up or shut up, as it were. I mean.
Well, it does look like here they have subscribed for 15 months,
right?
And then it looks like maybe they took a month off,
right? Which is weird.
So I don't know if they want to call in and sort of tell us what maybe sort of financial hardship they were undergoing, where maybe that was why they didn't sub for a month. I don't know if they want to do that, but certainly an option that's on the table.
It is certainly an option. Jello should thank you for the tier 1 sub to Grandma. I really do appreciate that. Now, Go Off Kings keeps asking you, John, to show your big ass. We don't have to like even address that if you don't want to, but I'd sort of I'd sort of like to get. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything you'd like to say to these Go Off Kings?
This is some classic kind of Go Off King stuff here.
Right.
Where they're always asking about my ass and simply wanting to see it. And I guess I could. Full disclosure, I'm wearing pajama pants right now. So you're really gonna, like, if I show it, you're really gonna see it.
Okay.
So someone is saying my ass is overhyped.
Really? I like this turn of phrase. Why don't you take a walk around your damn room and show us your big ass? That's a good way, nice way to say it. Do it, John. I mean, God knows.
Okay, I don't know how far back I gotta stand here. Can you get the mic out of the way here?
Yeah. Nice.
There you go. Was that?
That was great. Yeah, that was great. I think my ass is bigger if I'm being honest, but I'm glad you showed yours.
Is it bigger?
I got
Is
a
it
big.
bigger?
I kind of got a bit of a dumper. I've been told.
Do you?
Yeah. I can get it on the stream. I kind of got. Well, now.
Well,
you know
okay.
what? I stood up, and now I'm kind of worried that it's not actually as big as I think it is. You know what I mean? Because now I'm looking at it, I'm like, actually, maybe John has the bigger ass.
It's tough to tell. I don't. I might have a bigger ass. Yeah.
Damn it, dude.
Sorry, dude.
Best dumpy to John. Well, that's not the first time. All right, we got Tanner in here to defend him not being a subscriber to the channel, even though he's a moderator. Tanner, welcome to the program.
Hi, Tanner.
Hello, can you hear me? This is my first time doing this.
No, it's
You've
not.
never called in before as a mod and 15-month subscriber to the show?
Yeah, what do I even say?
I think
fucking explain yourself.
Yeah, I think that's sort of what Luke was getting at.
Oh, about Luke. Okay, so Luke gets mad at me. Usually it's off stream when I don't subscribe, but this time I guess he let it through on stream.
Mm-hmm.
That he snapped, and we all saw it. We all saw.
I didn't snap. You just admitted it. I mean, I wouldn't have brought it up if you hadn't admitted it by
saying I saw the Fall Guy trailer before. Well.
That is tough, Tanner. That's a tough kind of thing to admit, you know.
You're not going to walk your way out of this one, son. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, is that... I didn't know the ad thing was like a sub only.
Well, that's evident.
Ads.
That's definitely evident that you didn't know that, because
And-
otherwise you probably wouldn't have been like
now
me
it
and
probably
shown
is.
your ass.
And I don't fucking believe that for a second because you've been using this website longer than I have.
Oh,
I
there we go.
don't know about the ad stuff. That's you, dude. I don't watch Twitch anymore. I don't do this. This is a job to me, dude.
Mm.
Well,
That's a good point. Sometimes when something becomes work, you no longer can enjoy it for fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you give people free subs? I mean, I'd give them all. No, well, I think it's important, Tanner. I mean, Tanner uses his Prime sub too. It's not like it's.
Hey, here's an interesting experiment. Do I get to turn on my webcam?
Huh? No, we don't have webcam.
Tanner wants to show his ass, I think.
I don't have that capability right now because we're doing video through something else.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Totally fine.
Is my ass bigger than your ass, Tanner?
I have a famously kind of big dumpy, and
okay. You think your ass is bigger than my ass?
Well, I would hope it is because you two kind of didn't show much.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
I don't even. You gotta hang up on
well,
this dude,
it's
man.
not like
he hasn't even asked a question about curling
Bye.
either. I mean, get the fuck
you,
out of
Tanner.
here.
I'm so sick of this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's
What is that?
You know, that's a problem with these parasocial relationships.
Here's the thing about Discord.
No.
Here's the thing about Discord, buddy.
Wow.
I forgot you're a mod in the fucking Discord too.
Yeah, you gotta fix
it.
Luke, you gotta fix this shit.
Well, I can always give him a server mute. All right.
This is some nasty business.
I've given him a server mute, so now he's in the call, but he can't speak.
That's good.
So that's
thank
good.
God.
And that's nice to learn.
That was foul. That was, and I feel bad for you that that's one of your mods, to be honest.
You know, I mean, you're in this game long enough. You see this shit. It just the people that are closest to you can turn against you on a dime. Sometimes I feel like fucking Napoleon on this website. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. And I think really what we learned at the end there, what it kind of really came down to for Tanner was sort of the ass thing.
Yeah, yeah. He was pissed about. I think, and I
He
don't
really
know.
wanted to show his ass, and he really was saying it was bigger than our asses. And I'll be honest, based on just what I was hearing and seeing, I don't think so.
Because you got a big ass. I don't think mine's is as big, but I still have also know I've got a pretty big ass. So
Yeah,
then
you
it's
got
like,
a big ass. Yeah.
like if I'm the loser and I've still got a big ass, there's no way he's got a bigger ass than either of us.
No
dude.
chance.
Come on.
No chance.
Oh
Oh,
my God.
Tanner's now saying he sever unmuted himself.
You
This
fucking
MF
idiot.
say
You can't even
sever?
spell.
Fucking can't even spell
Wait,
server.
wait. Oh, you're gonna watch Severance next, dude? Fuck you, Tanner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I sever unmuted myself. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
If
See
I
you
was
later.
If I was there, yeah, shit would have gone way different for Napoleon at Waterloo if I was there. That is a good point. Good friend Jake. I definitely get that. John,
Yeah,
did you see the
100%.
Napoleon movie last year?
No, definitely not.
Was
No,
not
I
very
didn't
good.
see the Napoleon movie because I don't, I famously don't really watch movies. If there's some some Block Party fans in the chat or Go Off Kings, really,
Sure.
they'll know I don't really watch movies. However, I was we were talking about this before we got on stream. I was on a bad movie podcast today and I had to watch Madam Web.
What'd
So
you
I
think?
did, what did I think? Well, it wasn't very good, Luke.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It wasn't very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that movie in theaters, and I've got a pretty
Oh,
high
wow.
tolerance for bullshit superhero movies. I don't really care that much. I like being there. And halfway through, I was with my girlfriend, and halfway through, I turned to her and I said, "We can leave. It's okay." And we did walk out halfway through.
You walked out. Okay.
And I don't usually do that, but I was like, being the ally that I am to all women everywhere, even the women in Madam Web, I allowed her to leave. I said, "It's okay. We don't have to figure out that Adam Scott is Uncle Ben or whatever they wanted us to figure out in that movie."
Yeah, it's not feminist to stay here.
No. It is not feminist to stay here because we got to be protecting the women in our lives before we protect the women online. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That's one of my classic phrases.
I haven't heard it, but it's a good phrase.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bad
I like
movie.
it. I like it a lot. And I think Strong Bad Man is saying that they watch it and it's so boring. I think that's the thing. It's like it's not even that it's so bad where you could be like, oh, it's so bad, it's good or whatever. It's just boring.
Yeah.
Like nothing happens. Everyone in it is giving a career worst performance.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the villain, that is one of the worst superhero villain performances I've ever seen. No offense if he's in the chat tonight, but
It is really tough. And you're like,
really bad.
I mean, you knew you were in trouble when you start that movie, and it's so clearly they dubbed over the Portuguese or whatever they were speaking with English, and that was obviously a decision they made way later. I was like, that has some of the worst ADR I think I've ever, maybe the worst ADR I've ever seen in a Hollywood movie.
Ever seen.
It's crazy.
It's so bad.
It's crazy.
Good friend Jake is asking which movie I last watched. It's Madam Web. I finished it this morning. I did the podcast today. That's the last movie I watched. Although I will say Becca and I watched Good Will Hunting this week because she had never seen it. So I did watch a quote unquote real movie recently, which is not always normal for me.
What now? Can I ask you, what are you doing instead? Are you watching shows? Are you playing video games? Because I believe this because I'm someone I like music. I don't really listen to a ton of music, and I think it's because of these paradigms of movies, music, TV shows, video games. You can only keep up on so many of them. I don't even really watch TV shows.
For sure.
I kind of only watch movies. So I'm curious, how do you fill the days
It's
till
TV.
death?
TV. My wife and I will watch a lot of TV, and then music for sure. Always been a big music head. And then and video games as well. Movies for me, I find it's just so hard to be there the whole time. And I know people love the movie theater experience. I don't really care about that.
Sure.
So I think that's part of it too, maybe, but But yeah, it's good. There's a lot of questions for me about, but yes, I did like Goodwill Hunting. I've seen it before, but it
Yeah.
is good. Games, I've been back playing Hitman Freelancer mode because I want to get every gun. It's very fucking hard. It takes a really long time, but I'm getting very close to getting every gun in
I don't think
that.
I've ever played a Hitman game.
Oh, they're great. Do you game usually, Luke, or no?
I do. I'm a big gamer, I would say. But I end up fucking I do the disgusting shit where I feel like most of the time I end up playing like fucking I honestly play a lot of the same bullshit Stefan plays. Like I played a lot of Balatro, like the stupid math games where you just like see
I like
numbers.
Balatro too. I've been playing a lot of
Yeah.
Balatro. Yeah.
I like want to sit here and say, I started playing a Yakuza game and I enjoyed that, and then not my ass back on Fortnite again, playing that shit 10 hours a fucking day. I love it. What can I say? It's fun.
Hey, if you love it, you love it, right?
Love what you do.
You gotta love what you do.
John,
That's
have you
it.
played Hades?
I have not played Hades. No, it doesn't seem like my type of game.
Sure. It's really good.
Yeah.
Stefan's been
Maybe
getting
I'll-
Luke into Hearthstone. Yes, I've been playing Battlegrounds a bit with Stefan. It's very fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Stefan tried to get me on Hearthstone, and it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a fan.
I think you really got to have there's a broken part of your brain where you just like I don't know, it's like I don't even know what it is. I just love trading card games, man. I always have. I've been there just to watch the little guys come out, you know? It's very tensely. Were you ever a Magic
I mean,
guy?
Balatro does that really
Yes,
good. Like
yes.
when the flames start hitting the numbers.
Ooh.
Oh baby, when those flames start to cook, that's a real nice feeling.
Has anyone made a bingo roguelike deck builder? Someone needs to tell me that in
Oh.
the chat because that's a good idea, and I'm fucking doing it if someone hasn't. So don't steal my fucking idea. That's a really good idea. God damn, that would be so good. There's a roulette one. That doesn't matter. Pachinko, no, that's not what I'm going. That's not the saddest question. It's called a money making opportunity. A lot of y'all
Yeah.
poors can't fucking see that in the chat. But
Bingo roguelike.
go what?
I'd play it.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that kind of fun? And then you could, maybe you're spelling different words, or I don't know, man. I went to a bingo hall in New Orleans, and that was pretty fun. A lot of old people smoking, but still fun nonetheless.
That seems I feel like that's kind of bingo's whole thing, right?
Yeah, old people smoking. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, smoking and I think just because I guess you like in Canada, there's almost like nowhere you can smoke indoors. So it is always like disarming when you go to
Yes.
somewhere in America where you can smoke indoors. It's a very strange feeling.
Well, it's rare these days. I mean, I even in New Orleans, you can't even do it anymore. You used to be able to, but what they've taken from us, now we just gotta do Zyn packs all day. But okay,
Right.
John, let's get into it. We're gonna hit our segment for this evening. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
And
Let's.
what I'd like to do with you tonight is show you some ways to make curling more popular in America, and I'd like to
Love it.
pitch these to you and sort of
It's a great-
get your eyes on the prize.
Great photo right there of 2018 Olympic gold medalist John Schuster.
Okay.
Matt Hamilton, John Landsteiner there as well. Very nice.
Okay. I mean, I like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So those guys. So I picked well with that photo.
You did. Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
great guys, especially Hammy on the right there with the long hair.
Uh-huh.
You and Matt would get along. You guys would like
Really, you think that's cool. That's cool to know that a gold medalist and I would get along. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you know all these
Definitely.
guys have you met them all in person?
that. Yeah, I could call Matt Hamilton right now if you want me to.
Wow. Dude, it almost sounds like a threat because I know how true it fucking is. So let's get into
Yeah.
this. And so I'll get kind of your take, and you tell me what you think of this, whether you think this would work or not. And these are just kind of a few different ways to make curling more popular, which I'd like to see.
Okay.
I'd like to throw the.
I think we would all. Yeah, I think we would all like that.
I'd
right?
like to slide that rock, use that little motherfucking brush. All right, number one. Porno version. So this is pretty simple. It's just the same
Yeah.
thing, but it's porno. I don't really think you need too much. Not too much needs to be said here. I think you can kind of fill it in, right?
Curling porno. Yeah, I think it sounds like they would be filling it in.
Yeah.
If I'm sort of getting what you're saying here.
So here, I guess I'll Oh, it's the same slide. What the hell, man?
Yeah, it didn't. The slide did not change, but
It's such a good photo. It's such a good photo of porno.
'Kay.
Okay. All right.
can't wait to see it.
Yeah. This is gonna be really good. Get ready for this. Get ready for this. Shit. All right. Everybody hold your horses, because I found a really good photo for porno. It's not real porno,
Okay.
so it's not like a huge...
Yeah. I
It's not
figured you get booted from Twitch, I
it's not
guess.
a big deal, but it is sort of a sexy woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Let's make sure this works. Okay, great. Beautiful. And we're coming in live with porno version.
Oh, nice.
Look
That
at
looks like
this.
a picture from one of the Women of Curling calendars.
Now, okay, say more on that. There's some sort of horny porno calendar for curling guys and gals?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. And it's
That
sort of
looks
what it
like
sounds
exactly where that photo came from. Unless you generated it with AI, I don't know, but it does look like one of the calendar shots.
I believe that this is from that, if I remember the Google search.
Yeah, because
correctly.
it started in there was that whole craze kind of in the early aughts of the like, oh, it's like a nude calendar. I think they even made a movie called Calendar Girls with Helen Mirren in it, if I recall correctly. Where it was like the true story of these like older women who did a nude calendar to raise money for their garden society or some shit. But yeah, they did a curling calendar, and the original version was European. So so there were actually naked curlers in the calendar. But now they've done versions of it since. I think they're still doing it. Like there was one that came out this year, but it's not. You might get a bikini, you might get like a shirtless dude, but you're not getting nudes in the calendar. But they still sell them.
Does it raise money for any good
Yeah, for
cause?
charity.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I
So
figured.
usually the individual, how they work it is like each individual curler that poses in the calendar picks a charity.
Sure.
And then if they sell it for every calendar they sell, $5 of the profit goes to their charity or whatever.
Interesting. Well, that's
Yeah.
nice. I mean, so it seems like curling porno kind of already exists. So it seems like this is
It's out there. I mean, I agree with the chat too, curling with all the yelling, the hurry hard, the screaming, you definitely get a sense of, that could go well in a porno version for sure.
Yeah. Yell. That's what when I'm thinking porno, I'm thinking yelling. That is the classic.
It's a classic porno thing they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yelling in there.
All right, cool. Number 2. This is pretty simple. Oh shit! Don't look at this. No. Fuck.
Whoa. Okay, I'm not. Whoa. Okay, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I closed my eyes.
God damn it! Fuck.
Don't worry. Just let me know when I can look again.
Hold
I
on.
closed
What
my
the
eyes in
fuck?
time.
It's going fucking crazy, man. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
All the tech. I don't know if you knew this. The tech on this show is kind of.
Oh shit.
All right. Zyn sponsorship. You know about Zyns, John?
Yeah, I think I have an idea of a Zyn. It's like a nicotine pouch, correct?
Yeah, and I'm really addicted to them right now after quitting.
Oh, are
smoking
you?
for 3
Okay.
years. Yeah, I got really addicted to them. I had one in earlier, you didn't even realize, and I might have one in later, and you won't even realize that, because that's the great discrete part of being a Zyns user, John. That's the great.
I see. Is that's what appeals to you? It's not the nicotine. It's just you're like, I like to be doing something that people don't know that I'm doing it.
Well, I don't know if it's that as much as there are people in my life that wish I wasn't doing it. So that it helps me do it. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
Now, I do think that curling is a sport that Zyns could help, because it's about concentration. It's about sort of, it's about the preciseness of small movements. Would you agree with that, John?
Definitely.
So I would say, you know what I mean? If you kind of have the Zyn in, you got the little it's sort of like when you take the Limitless drug, it kind of feels like when I do it. And I think there is a really easy partnership here where if you could really get Zyns on the side of curling. How does that sit with you as like a curling man?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I wouldn't do it personally, but I will say, without saying who it is, I played against a curler for a long time who was a pretty like highly ranked curler who would have like a wad of chewing tobacco in at all times while he was curling and was just like gutting it, not spitting it anywhere.
Holy shit.
So I think having Zyns I think there'd definitely be some curlers who are into the idea of zinning while they're playing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That is, man, I guess I knew that people did that, but it is, yeah, he'd have to because he can't like spit when he's curling.
You can't spit while you're playing. So you just, he would just have he'd just pack a hammer in there and have it the whole time that he's playing. Cause I don't know if you know this, Luke, but like back in the day, one of the sort of famous things is like curlers smoked while they played.
Whoa.
So if you watch videos of like old world championships and stuff like that, you'll see curlers with like, they're like at the world championships with like cigarettes hanging out of their mouth while they're throwing.
I mean, this is kind of, I like to think zins are kind of like cigarettes for the modern man, you know? So I do, this feels like it would actually really fit. Maybe more so than I thought. Somebody's saying their local rink was sponsored by cigarettes, so that's cool.
That makes sense for sure. They used to actually have like ice, like ashtrays in the ice. They would like freeze them into like halfway down the sheet. So if you were a sweeper and you were smoking, you could butt out your ashes and then just keep smoking
During the sweep, or no, while you're waiting.
But even during the sweep, you'd just have a smoke dangling while you're sweeping.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that's, I mean, if that's not Canadian excellence, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we popped off, man.
All right, number 3. More fails. These epic videos we can't get enough of when a guy eats shit and falls down and gets fucked up. Sort of the American football, it's kind of like one epic brain fail after another watching those boys hit each other. But I
do you want me to send you the video of the worst like curling fail ever? Okay.
Let's check this shit the fuck out.
Okay. I'm going to send it to you right now. This is by far the like gnarliest curling fall that I've ever seen, I think. I'll drop it. I'll drop it in the chat as well here.
Kids, they make the kids wear helmets.
Yeah, and the older people will wear helmets too. Yeah, but get ready for this because this is some nasty business right here.
All right, let's see this shit. Holy shit. Bro, he landed on his neck.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. Was he okay?
He ended up needing stitches. He left the game in the middle and then had to come back. It's actually it's Brad Gujou, who's like one of the best curlers ever. And he just lost his balance, and I think he left the game for like 2 ends, and then he came back with stitches.
That's insane, man.
Crazy.
How did he just like lost his balance a little, and it was on ice kind of a vibe?
Yeah, exactly. It just happens sometimes. Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, so I think if you got way more of those, people would like your shit more. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, people do fall, but it's usually while they're sliding. Like they'll come out of the hack and then they kind of just like lose their balance or whatever. But that was one of the few where it's like, just fully face planted into the ice. It's rough.
Are the shoes special? Because I was looking at the shoes people are in. They seem just like normal. They are? Do they have grips?
They are special. Yeah, do you want me to go get my curling shoes and show you?
Please. I mean, God, while we're on the fucking topic, let's do this.
We might
shit.
as well, right?
Yeah,
okay, they're just in my basement. I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah, sure. It's curling night, baby. We're getting the fucking skinny on everything going on in the world of curling. Is one of the suggestions going to be skins in like Fortnite outfits and rocks done up to look like different IPs? Dude, I wish. That's a great idea, the remover. Oh, man. Damn, that's a really good one. Let's make sure this shit still works. Nope. God fucking damn it. I hate the computer, man. I hate how it works. Tanner, you better fucking fix this shit when you get here, man, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all this stuff. Here we go. Great. Perfect. I had tape on my shoes when my friend brought me on the Bring a Friend Day, and it didn't work too good. Yeah, you don't want tape on your shoes on ice, my man. You wouldn't want tape on yours. I guess I didn't know so many people in the chat who are regulars know about curling. Curler, I hardly... Yo! Let's see this shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, got my shoe. I got a shoe bag. I keep him in my shoe bag here.
All right.
So you have two.
Go back to the
two shoes. So you have one that's just like a gripper.
Mm-hmm.
So this is on my right foot, my non-sliding foot. So you got two like gripper discs on the bottom.
Gripper discs.
Then I've got some duct tape on my toe here to reduce drag.
Cool.
And then this is my slider shoe. So when you're not sliding, you have a gripper on the bottom. But then when you're sliding, you take the gripper off.
Oh,
And
damn.
it's got two Teflon discs on the bottom.
Whoa. So you could probably get
that's-
going pretty fast as fuck if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely. I can slide from like one end of the ice to the other. And then some curlers will, so mine are Teflon, which is not as slippery. Some curlers will use stainless steel.
Whoa.
So that fucking whips. You go real fast with that.
Have you ever done the thing where, like, you know, like in bowling where a guy like doesn't let go of the ball and he goes flying through the air and down and hits the pins? You know what I'm talking about?
No, that doesn't happen in curling.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't happen in curling where you forget to let go and then you go sliding down the ice too.
No, because there's no like holes that you're like that are like stuck in. You know, you're not like stuck in
Right.
it or whatever. But
Right. I bet it's happened.
you want to see
once.
do you want to see my broom? I brought my broom.
Please. How'd they get? Now I am curious about the history of curling. Like, how'd they get started with figuring out to use a broom? You know what I mean?
So this is my broom. So it kind of looks like a Swiffer head almost.
Okay.
And then it's made of carbon fiber, so the handle is
Sure.
the handle's quite light.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the broom there.
Okay.
Well, so curling started out on like frozen ponds.
right.
So literally like sweeping just started to like get the snow out of the way to like make the rock go
Oh.
faster. And then as they moved it inside, basically they just kept the brooms because they figured out that by warming up the ice, it reduces the friction between the rock and the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So the rock goes further and usually stays straighter.
Interesting. Damn. That is crazy. I didn't know that's what it was. So yeah. So it can go, and it goes faster, and you can kind of control it a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit.
Luke, Johnny lives in a Canadian city called Calgary. Can you name either the name of the province Calgary are in or any other Canadian city between Vancouver and Toronto? Extra point if it's in the same province as Calgary. Can I tell you my honest answer to that, John? I thought Calgary was a province. Honest to God. Didn't even know that. So, no.
Calgary is not its own province.
So no. Absolutely not. No way I know that at fucking all. But thank you for asking. All right, let's go. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah,
More
sorry,
fails.
let's get
Number
back
4.
to our,
Go back in time and have Richard Jewell threaten to blow up a curling match instead of maybe blowing up the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. And let me kind of get this. So and I want to be clear. I still think he did it, by the way. But now I think if you got kind of Canada on the board a little bit with this, and it was the Winter Olympics, like people would be like, "Oh yeah, curling, the thing Richard Jewell hated."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, I think curling hasn't, I mean, we said, there's been sort of some like bad boys of curling, maybe some, players who are villains because fans don't like them.
Right.
But we haven't had like the one guy to kind of unify the community, the sport of saying like, hey, we really hate this guy. Like, remember that time he tried to blow us up?
Yes,
example.
exactly. And I'd actually, this is an earnest question. Is there anybody who's like the Michael Jordan of curling who's just like, everybody's like, yeah, this guy's way better than like anyone else has ever been at curling?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think the GOAT debate in curling is pretty heated on both the men's and women's side, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There isn't like one clear answer to that. There's definitely like, I would say a top 5 on both sides, but yeah, not one clear person.
If you are the top curling team in the world, are you making enough money to just curl?
Mm-hmm.
You are.
You are, but it's still not a lot. Like, so the top team this year probably made around 200 grand. And then that's Canadian, 200 grand total. Then you got to split that between all 4 people. So you're making 50,000 each. That's also before expenses. So you're paying your own way into these tournaments to get to the tournaments. staying at hotels, but the top teams will have enough sponsorship money that they, that they basically get to take home. So
That's not a lot of money, John.
no, it's not.
No.
It's not.
Okay. All right. Next one. Get Bella Hadid into it. This crazy fuck. I mean, come on. Bella Hadid's fucking pimp, and we'd love to see her great curling because I do think, now maybe I don't know them because they're Canadian, but I do feel like there's not a lot of celeb influence when it comes to curling, John. Is there?
No, there's not. No, the probably the closest thing we have to a curling celebrity right now is are you an NFL guy, Luke?
No, I don't really care for sports too much, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay,
More
totally
inside
fair.
kid.
Former NFL Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl linebacker Jared Allen, who you may know as one of the guys who tackled Johnny Knoxville on an episode of Jackass, or I guess it was in Jackass 3.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that. It's where Johnny just basically says like "fuck me up" pretty much.
Yeah. I do. I know.
Yeah. So he is now curling. He's like obsessed with. He's retired from the NFL and he is now on a team that has been to the last few U.S. national championships.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Is it a little like golf where are there other guys who are like in a really like sort of physically like fucks your body up? You can only do it for so many years before like your tendons go and then they kind of retire into it, a little like golf, or no?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I think with curling, you definitely see people play late into their lives.
Right.
We've had Olympic gold medalists in their well into their 40s and stuff. Like you can definitely keep playing it at a high level. But yeah, the way the game is getting now with how powerful the sweeping is and everything like that, I think the careers are going to start to get shorter.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Don't let French people do it. And I know Canada's got sort
We
of
don't.
You don't. Okay.
We let people from Quebec do it, but we don't let French people do
Well,
it.
that's good because my follow-up was the French Canadians are okay because I do feel like that's kind of its own thing. But people in France should not be. They should stick to it, whatever the fuck it is they do. Smoking cigarettes and being rude to me when I go over there.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
France France was in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, but as so often happens in countries that are not Canada, they kind of have like one good curling team, and then as soon as one of the players decides to retire or whatever, then that country just disappears into the ether, and that's kind of what happened. The guy's name was Thomas Dufour, and he just kind of gave up curling, and we haven't seen them since. And they got their ass beat at that Olympics as well. I think they went over.
I wonder if there's any sport the French take it home at the Olympics. I don't know. I'm sure there may be some sort of skiing. I don't know.
At the Winter Olympics,
summer,
I think they have some figure skaters in there. They got some. They do some figure skating over there.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
That's
That
about
is a
it, though.
safe
I
bet.
think I don't know if they're good at anything
Hey,
else, really.
I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I think we can all agree. Fuck the French. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amen. All right. Well, thank
We
you,
can.
John, for being privy to that segment. I'm glad we kind of got through that, and
Loved that segment.
yeah, you didn't laugh one time though. I noticed.
Well, I was just. I think I'm just so in curling analysis mode right now.
Okay.
All
right.
When you're kind of
That's a good
saying to
out.
me,
Yeah,
"Hey,
that's a good
let's deal with these curling
Yeah.
problems," I'm like, "Yeah, let's."
Okay. All
get
right. You know what?
serious
Fair
about it.
enough. I really thought I was going to get you the French people one, but it didn't quite hit. And maybe it's because you're just such a consummate professional. But if you do the show again, just know when we get to this segment, I'm kind of doing it to make you laugh. So I do need
Right.
a little bit of sort of like, I'm
Okay.
going to need that kind of positive reinforcement to keep me going. You know what I mean?
Understood. That's
yeah.
my bad. As
It's
soon as
not-
I saw that, I
could've
just
known.
immediately thought of Thomas Dufour, and then that was a real problem for all of us.
Right. I understand that. You got, yeah. So it's right. So it was really funny. It
was really funny. It was really funny. I was just very sidetracked by like, oh, I know that person. Oh, here's a curling fact I could tell you.
Got it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good. And
Yeah.
I'll write that down for later. All right, folks. Well, we're back into the regular show. If you do have any more curling questions, please call in, throw it in the chat. It's curling night here on Chat House.
Curling night.
I'd like
Yeah.
to try it. I'd like to give curling a whirl, a curl, as it were.
See, and that's good stuff right there. And
Yeah,
that
thank
is
you
what
so
I will
much.
laugh at.
Thank you. Yeah, that felt really real.
That was really good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I could take you curling for sure.
Yeah.
You come up here to Calgary. We'll get you out.
How close is Calgary to Vancouver?
It's like an hour flight.
Oh, so it's kind of far.
Yeah, it's like a 10-hour drive. There is a curling club in Hollywood also.
In
So
California?
I could come down to you and we
My
could
God. And then
curl it up.
I'll take you to the what can I kind of offer in so you're gonna teach me curling. I'll teach you California. I'll teach you how to do
Swimming?
zins and not let your girlfriend know or your wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
It's easy. She never really realizes it unless she's looking for it. Actually.
I feel like does the pouch like kind of disintegrate a little bit so it gets
No.
even easier as you have it in, or no?
No, but it looks like if you didn't know what you were looking for, it just looks kind of like a piece of paper. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like sort of, and I would say, yeah, surfing, unfortunately, not potluck riot. My uncle was a surfer, and I surfed once when I was 12, and the board hit me in the stomach and knocked the wind out of me, and I started crying, so I didn't do it again, which will happen. I mean, it happens.
That'll
to the
happen.
best of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I get that. I'm very much a like try something once, and if I'm bad at it, never try it again.
I feel that, yeah. And you know what?
Yep.
As you get older, you kind of have a pretty good idea of what you're good and what you're bad at, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's sort of like why you know what you like, you know what you don't like. You know, you don't need to suffer fools. I don't need any new hobbies, you know?
No, yeah, no, definitely not. Not
Yeah.
at this age. But you could teach me how to swim. I mean, I don't like I can swim, but
Right.
I've never done it in a like racing like
Yeah,
you know, you could give me some tips on my
Okay.
strokes.
I'll take you to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena and we'll sort of hit the pool and we'll get your 50 free time down to something reasonable for giving you
I would love to have a reasonable 50 free time.
It's all, you know what? I mean, you could get at my age, can I do under 30 seconds? Yeah, probably, but it'd take me a while to get back on that, you know.
What was your best time? Like what was your peak time?
I'm trying to think of my best. I was a better endurance swimmer, and I was never that good at freestyle, at crawl, as it were. I was more of a backstroke guy. But now, at one time in my life, I never had to I knew exactly how many lengths it would take me of like arm lengths to get to the back, to the
Right,
wall.
like so you would know when you got to that stroke, my arm's about to hit the wall.
I literally knew exactly the moment, and now I don't know that. So I always kind of looking back, and that's just going to slow you down, first of all, first and foremost. What's the world record for curling?
I don't even know what that question means.
I guess I don't either. Maybe now I found it interesting when I was looking at the rules for curling. It's not it is a score game, but I figured with a target it was going to be like this is worth 2, this is worth 1, this is worth 3, but it's about who's closest to the bullseye at the end of the round. Correct, John? Is that correct?
Yes, it is. But so there's kind of a weird scoring feature. Have you ever played bocce before, Luke?
I have, but I don't think we were playing it right. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So how it works in curling is only one team scores per end. So it's not just like, oh, we have 3 in the target and you have 2 in the target, so we get 3 and you get 2. Typically how it works, not typically, this is how it works, is like if your rock is the closest to the middle of the target, you get 1 point.
Okay.
And then if your rock is the next closest to the target, you get another point. As soon as the next closest rock to the target is your opponent's, the scoring stops. So does that make sense? So like if you had 7 in the rings and I had 1 in the rings, but my 1 was the closest to the middle, I get 1 and you get 0.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was looking up like trick plays, and there was a lot of it relied around, or like the coolest plays, a lot of it relied around like crazy things where they like knock the fuck out some of the other rocks of their teammate, like boom, boom. Yeah. Are you good?
That's kind of a big thing.
Are you good at shuffleboard? Because you have this. I mean, do they translate?
I'm pretty good at like any sport that like requires touch. Like there's just something about like the fine muscles in my, I guess, arms and wrists. Any kind of table game, even like darts, I'm not bad at. I also, I would say like, normally for golfing, like people who aren't that good at golf, they'll be good at driving, and they always say like my short game is the worst part of my game. Like that's
Right.
usually what takes the longest to get
Right.
good at.
Right.
My short game is better than my
Sure. 'Cause
my
it's the
driving
same-
game because I have
Yeah.
it's just like good muscle memory. I have good touch. Like I'm a pretty decent putter and I'm a decent chipper. Just because I have, I guess it's like a somewhat translatable skill.
Yeah, because it's like of your ability to gauge like how you can see putting force to equal a small object going. So it does make total sense. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, totally.
I'm not really good at any sports. I actually am pretty good at swimming, though. I have to say.
Sounds like it. I mean,
It's
I think
kinda
if
the
you
only thing I
trained that
got.
much,
Yeah.
I think if you trained that much, you would just be good at it by default.
If I started training, I bet I could get probably not the Olympics, but I bet I could get pretty close. I don't think that's probably true. I don't think there's not a lot of.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'll probably stop you there and say that's probably unlikely, but
yeah. Do you? I mean, did you ever have like? Would you ever like? Were you really like trying? Like, I'm trying to like. I assume like swimming, curling is one of the ones where the goal is to get to the Olympics. Like that's the highest level of competitiveness.
Yeah, there's a few different goals. Like in Canada, so I was telling you earlier about the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. That's the women's national championship. The men's national championship is called the Brier. And you have to win your province to get there. So it's like there's one representative from every province. That's also changed a little bit in the last couple of years. They have some wild card spots now, but basically at its core, you have to win your province to get to the Brier. So that was always the goal growing up, was to win my province and get to go to the Brier. I lost my provincial final twice. So I was close. And then the Olympics is after that, but I wasn't in the like upper echelon of teams. So it's like the Olympic trials for Canada, the top 8 teams go to the tournament, and then the winner of that tournament goes to the Olympics. And at my peak, I was like 16 or 17 in Canada. So I didn't actually get into the tournament to go to the Olympics.
But
that's just like they were like a level above where I was.
Is it one of those things where it's like one of those sports where also like you guys were probably better than so many does Canada just kind of always win curling, or are there other teams, are there other countries that give you a
we used to be very dominant in curling, and then when it got into the Olympics, a lot of other countries realized like, oh, there aren't that many countries in the world that are very good at curling. So if we put a bunch of resources into curling, this is a place where we could win some medals.
Yeah. Totally.
So Canada actually has not. The last time we won both golds at the Olympics was 2014 in Sochi. And then since then, we've only won one medal. So we did not medal at all in 2018.
Wow.
And then in 2022, our women's team did not medal, and our men's team won the bronze. So
who's winning?
Sweden, the U.S. famously won in 2018 for the men. That's the 3 guys you were showing earlier.
Sure.
But yeah, the top countries are like Sweden, Italy, Switzerland, Scotland, the United States, Japan, and South Korea. And then to a lesser extent, you've got like China, Australia, New Zealand, Finland, Estonia, Germany. They're all Turkey actually weirdly now has like a pretty decent women's curling team. Their men's team is not as good, but their women's team is actually pretty decent. They were just in the Worlds.
Is it all indoor rinks, or are there outdoor curling rinks as well?
There are some outdoor curling rinks, but that's mostly for fun because throwing on natural ice is much harder.
Right. Now, John, here's a follow-up question. This is also for chat as well. When I bent down, did you even realize that I put another Zin in my mouth?
No, I was not. I wasn't paying attention to your zinning.
Make some noise in the chat if you even realized that about 40 seconds ago I put in a Zin. I bet the answer might surprise you. Or maybe not if you understand how easy it is to Zin discreetly.
Wow. I mean, it seems like you've been sort of practicing to discreetly Zin.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, there's people in your life that are trying to stop you from doing it. They say it makes your heart rate too high, or I don't know.
Right. It sort of sounds like you're really concerned about that.
I'm a little bit worried about it. Yeah. I mean, I am. I kind of thought that don't do that. I thought that it was fine. Like I kind of thought there was no bad effects for it. It turns out I learned.
Why would you think that?
Well, John, I guess I'd like to call it willful ignorance. I chose not to look it up, and I said, "Hey, it's not smoking and it's not vaping. It's zinning." Rhymes with winning.
Oh, that was the big sort of research you did. Well, if it rhymes with winning, then
Zinners are winners. I mean, yeah, that might be. You could use that in curling.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of your slides there in the segment.
Yeah. Well,
So-
it's nicotine without tobacco, right? So that is why I think it maybe is better.
Someone zinned this is actually at a curling event I was at. I was doing comedy at a curling league wrap up, and the guys I was sitting with at the table were zinning.
Okay.
And the one guy had actually brought up zins from America, because I guess you can get stronger zins in America than you can in Canada.
Classic, dude.
Very, very normal stuff. But they were saying stuff like to me where they were like, well, nicotine is not harmful. It's like tobacco is the harmful thing in cigarettes.
Right.
And I was sort of like, I'm not going to research it, but
Right.
that sounds wrong. That sounds like
Right.
what a teenager would say
Right.
before they put a zin in.
Right. Totally. So that is sort of my reasoning, and I kind of was going off of that because someone said that to me, and then and that's why I kind of chose not to do my own research till today, and then I said, well, maybe there's some things telling me there's a couple of things maybe you shouldn't be zinning so much.
Right. Yeah.
So it is less it's sort of like, but there's a lot of things that are less cancerous, but that doesn't mean they're not cancerous. I think that's sort of the.
Yeah. Right.
Is there a cap on caffeine per drink up there? That's a good question.
Yes, there is. So I just responded to that. But yes, there is
What
a
is
cap
it?
on caffeine up here. I don't know what the cap is, but I know when they first came out with the Prime energy drinks, so not the sports drinks, but the energy drinks, the cans were mislabeled in Canada. They were basically shipping the Prime up here with the American amount of caffeine, but with the Canadian amount printed on the can, and they all got recalled and they had to be sent back to America. And then it took Prime like 6 more months to get the energy drink up here. Yeah.
Damn. Wow. I'm seeing the limit is 180 milligrams per serving. That is not a lot. I mean, I'm saying you get base 200 in the energy drink down here.
Wow. Okay.
So sorry about that. I mean, I'll take.
Well, I don't drink caffeine, so I don't have anything with caffeine in it. So.
Hey, I don't care. I don't care how much I have to pay for my health care. As long as I can take as high milligram Zins as possible and fucking 500 milligrams of caffeine to the fucking dome every day. You know what I mean?
Well, you couldn't have it. I mean, we don't have either of those things. So
damn.
But I mean, I guess you could always buy 2 monsters,
right,
and then
right,
you could.
Right.
Then you're in the zone.
You don't drink any caffeine. Have you never drinking caffeine, or did you quit at some
No,
point?
I used to drink it a lot. I don't like coffee, so
Sure.
I would avoid drinking coffee.
Sure.
But I would drink Coke. That was like my big. I would have like 3 Cokes a day,
Damn.
like in university.
Diet or heavies?
Heavies, just
Whoa.
regular Cokes.
Soda guy.
Big soda guy, and then, pardon me, I had a really bad bout of vertigo, and I found after that the caffeine just like affected my vertigo, and I knew I shouldn't have been having that much caffeine anyway, so I just stopped drinking it altogether. I'll have it the odd time now, but I'm like, the thing is, when you stop having caffeine, you really realize how much it affects your body. Like if I have pretty much the only thing I'll have with caffeine in it is like the odd time I'll have a Coke, or I'll have like a Zevia, both of which are about like 45 milligrams of caffeine. And I have those and I am fucking buzzing, dude. Like I am on the ceiling. And that's just like 1 can of Coke. And I'm like, bing, 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 bing. Like it's just, and I can't, if I have it after like 4 p.m., I'm up until 2 a.m. Like it's crazy. So that really, no, not really. I think I think once you stop having it, you realize like, oh no, I can just get through the day. Like I was tricking myself into thinking I needed
Right.
caffeine to get through the day, but you don't actually.
Well, I need Zins to get through the day. Or I will get really sick. I will get sick if I don't have them. So there is a difference, I guess, between caffeine and Zins. I want to ask you. So you said you did. Do you often do comedy at curling events? And is the comedy curling related? Do you go full? Do you play to the motherfucking room and you bring out the fucking curling material?
Yeah, so I do quite a bit of curling comedy. I also
Okay.
do curling keynotes. So like for like junior, it's usually for junior aged curlers, which is under 21. I'll do like keynote, kind of like they're funny, but they're like they have a little bit more of a a message or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I do it at curling events. It's funny, like when I first started doing comedy, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you must talk about curling in your act."
Right.
And I don't really, because it was very hard for me to write a curling joke that wasn't too inside.
Sure.
Right? Like it was because I just know I'm in it too much. So when I get in front of a curling crowd, it's definitely, I give them the business. It's usually, I have about, I would say like 10 minutes ish of like curling specific material. So I'll hit them with that 10 minutes off the top. Then I'll maybe make fun of their curling club or
Right.
them personally for another like 5 minutes. And then I'll do like 15 minutes of just like regular material. And then that's usually the type of show I do at like a curling event.
Okay, now, and I feel like, because I know this is an awful question to ask a comedian, but I'm going to word this specifically. Where
Okay.
it's so what I would love, and you can say no, is do you have a joke that definitely will elicit no reaction from me or anyone that doesn't know curling? Like, you're going to tell it, and I'm not going to laugh, but you know
Yes.
how fucking hard that crushes with curlers.
Yes,
Okay.
100% I can do that.
Please, whenever you're
Okay.
ready.
Okay. All right. So I'm in a curling club. I'm doing a curling event right now.
Okay.
And I would say, yeah. So, this is after I've already explained to the crowd who I am and what I've done in curling and stuff. So I'm like, I just have this one thing. I've been trying to get this policy instituted with curlers. I think it's time to get rid of the phrase hard for a piece, because like when a skip says like hard for a piece, basically they're not helping their own team. Like, look, if you're a sweeper, you're already sweeping as hard as you can. Like, is hard for a piece really going to make you sweep any harder? No, it's not. All hard for a piece is telling all the sheets around you, hey, look, this asshole's about to miss this shot. And then that literally crushes when I say that.
I could tell there was so many specifics, like it went crazy, and I got and I know Krebs. Someone asked like why I set up like that, and I think it's because I hope this was prevalent to you, John, is because when you ask a comedian to do a joke. And they do it, and they know that they're not going to get a good reaction because just doing material out of the thin air for one person it's not going to do great. So I thought it was nice to kind of set that up. Do you agree?
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I
For
will
sure.
say,
There's definitely no worse feeling. There's no worse feeling than when people find out you're a comedian, they ask you to tell them a joke, and they're serious. Like they're like, no, this is. I mean it. I want you to tell me a joke right now to my just me and you. Just tell me it to my face.
Yeah, as if somehow you like your entire act was like street jokes about like two Irishmen walking to a bar or something. It doesn't even make any fucking sense at all. I got to the point where I would never tell like anyone that I like someone I meet. You just can't. You can't do it. You can't do it.
No, you can always tell when someone is new in comedy because they're telling people they're a comedian.
Yeah, they don't understand.
It's like the further you get into it, the less you want people to know that you do it. Like it's the worst conversation. But what I've done, and you maybe did this as well, is like I do just have a street joke where I'll just say that. So like if they find out I'm a comedian and then they say like, oh, tell me a joke, I have a street joke that I like that I'll just tell them, and then it kind of diffuses the situation without having to be like, fuck you, I'm not telling you a joke right now or whatever.
Damn, I never even thought to do that. That's a smart idea. And everybody's happy. Now,
do you want to hear the joke?
Please.
All right. Did you hear about the two antennas that got married?
No.
The ceremony was terrible, but the reception was excellent.
It's really good.
Yeah,
It's
right?
funny. It's funny that would be a joke where a guy would be like, "Yep, that's a joke that a stand-up comedian says on stage."
Yeah, they're so satisfied. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I got what I
Yeah,
wanted out of this
yeah.
interaction.
I got okay. This is kind of a street joke, but it's
Yeah.
what did the terrorists order on 9/11?
What?
2 large. Oh shit! I fucked it up. What did the terrorists order from the pizza place on 9/11?
What?
2 large planes. And I think that joke only
That's
works
good.
if you're living in a part of the country that they call planes. They call cheese pizza planes, which I've since learned is not all.
Okay, yeah, that
You
was
didn't get-
totally lost
Yeah,
on
yeah,
me.
you
I just
just-
thought they were like calling the pizza place to order an airplane.
So if
Yeah,
you
that's
live-
like I have a 9/11 joke as well. Do you want to hear? Do you want to
Please,
hear it?
please.
Okay, knock knock.
Who's there?
9/11.
9/11. Who?
You said you would never forget.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
You just put it right in their face, you know?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, I certainly didn't. You know, I grew up in Washington D.C. and guess what? There were also 4 planes, Zeke. Yes, but the terrorists. Well, you're thinking of the 2 planes in that joke that flew into the Twin Towers, because one of the planes flew into a farmland in Pennsylvania, and one of them flew into. I don't know if you know this, John, because you're in a different country, but one of them flew into the Pentagon. So I wasn't at the Pentagon that day, but I was in D.C.
Yeah.
and I did have to go home early.
And that was hard for you
That was
because
hard for me.
you love to work.
I loved school. I was a bit of an overachiever.
Oh,
and then-
school. Yeah.
And I really wanted to. And I really, yeah. I'm younger, so I was still in school, and what I really wanted to do was watch Price is Right, but every fucking channel you turned on, it was just the 9/11. You know what I mean?
It sucks when they preempt, preempting prices right. It's sort of like in that moment, it's kind of like, didn't the nation need prices right?
I know. At least we could do the picture in picture. You know what I mean? I don't think the news does that enough for you. It's like, let's watch Price is Right, and then in the corner, like a quarter of
Yeah.
it, you've got 9/11 coming in.
We'll
there.
have the Pentagon, the plane crash just outside of Camp David or whatever the fuck.
And I went to the one at the Pentagon pretty soon after it happened. My grandpa and I drove out there, and we saw the plane still there. So,
Damn.
that is my experience with 9/11. John, where were you on 9/11?
I was in high school at the time. I would have been in grade. I guess I was in grade 10 or 11.
Okay.
What was it? September 2001. So so I would have been grade 11.
Yeah.
And I just remember waking up and my mom was like, some crazy shit's going on. I was positive World War III was starting and I was
Sure.
going to die soon.
Yeah.
Then I went to school and I remember I had a spare block and I just like went to the library and watched the TV during spare, being like, this is fucking crazy. But yeah, I think there was always still like an air of, even though like the initial thought was, oh my God, this is World War III, we're all screwed.
Right.
But then I was also thinking like, but also I live in Canada. So like, what's really going to happen?
That's an
up
interesting
here?
idea because in the U.S. famously during draft times, people will flee to Canada. Right?
Yeah, and I lived in a border town, so if there was a draft, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Like I grew up 40 minutes south of Vancouver, so I lived. So like someone actually in the chat was way earlier was talking about the Peace Arch border crossing, and I grew up like fairly close to there, and so yeah, there definitely would have been draft dodgers that were trying to come up there.
Where would you go though if Canada had a draft?
That's a good question. Guam.
I think that's still the U.S. though, right?
Yeah, but you said Canada's having a draft.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to imagine what would the war be where Canada has a draft and the U.S. doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. Canada's going to war with Mexico, and we're just coming through. We're just passing through the states on our way
That's
to
gonna
Mexico.
fuck us, dude. That's gonna fuck us. Damn, we gotta make a
Well,
North
you're-
American alliance, man. That would be so sick, wouldn't it?
Well, our people are looking into it. We have our best
Yeah.
people on it.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
Is he still? Is he still the main bastard?
He is for now, but we're about to have a bad guy take over.
Really?
Conservative guy is about to take over for old JT.
Even though JT is the guy who has all the bad pictures.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got over that right quick.
Yeah.
Canada was sort of just a like, that was a 1-day news cycle thing.
Really? It's so
Yeah,
crazy because if that happened here, that would last. I mean, they'd still be showing that shit, but I guess they don't really care about that stuff up there.
No.
It's interesting.
It's not good. It's not good but yeah, we didn't really care. We reelected him again after that happened. But now the problem we have is that he's still going to be the leader of the Liberal Party. They're not going to, he should step down because I think if he stepped down and the Liberal Party had a new leader, then there would be a possibility that the new leader of the Liberal Party would win. But people do not want to vote for Trudeau, so they're going to vote for the Conservative guy who is a fucking ghoul and is going to set Canada back like 30 years.
Is he like Trump style? Is he sort of like an oligarch,
yeah, he's got that kind of like definitely. There's going to be some abortion, anti-LGBTQ kind of shit going on that is not going to be. It's not going to be good. I'll tell you that right now.
They should do a thing where Biden and Trudeau team up in sort of a young and old kind of super team. You know what I mean? Because Trudeau's pretty young, right?
Yeah, he's in his, I guess, mid-40s or
that's
late 40s.
That's young for a president.
Young, yeah.
My God, that's young. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for what you guys got going on there. You guys, there's a really good chance either one of them, if they win, dies in office.
There's a very good chance. I don't think Trump will ever die, though. I think they're gonna figure out. They're gonna do something with him. Maybe give him Barron's body after a while. I think that would be good. Something like that. Tag team. He welcomes conspiracy theories and Alex Jones. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, John, I mean, I'm trying to say, does anyone have any other questions about curling? I mean, that really is the thing here. As we wade further into politics, which I hate. I hate politics.
Once we start to get into the Canadian politics, it's a problem.
Because it's already like, I mean, I barely care down here, and your politics matter even less to me.
To us as well. Yeah.
Why is it called a rock?
It's made of rock. Yeah.
42
pounds of granite.
I watched an interesting YouTube video today about the people who make all of the rocks, the official rocks for the Olympics in the world. And they go to this island and get a special type of granite. You probably already know
That's every curling stone in the world, not just the Olympics. Every curling stone in the world is from Ailsa Craig, which is a granite quarry on an island just off the coast of Scotland.
Wow. That's
crazy. There you go.
Creme
de la Creme literally just said, can you talk about the one quarry in Scotland where all the granite comes from? So yeah, there you go.
And what's so special about this granite?
I think most of it is just its indestructibility. I think is a big part of it. It's very non-porous for granite. It's very, very solid. So it's really hard to break a curling stone. And I also think it's just like the uniform consistency. Like if they all come from one quarry, then all the rocks at all the clubs will behave, something close to the same, where you're not like, oh fuck, we go curl in that tournament and they use rocks from this quarry and they suck or whatever,
And this is, we have here, I don't have a question, but I just want to say the video didn't do justice for John's ass earlier, and that's from John's wife.
Yeah, that's my wife, Becca. Hi, Becca. Shout out to my wife. She is probably the number one fan of my ass. So
yeah, I don't know if Katie's the number one fan of my ass, but I hope she is. Does Becca? Does she care about curling at all?
She's gotten way more into it since she dated me. Yes.
Sure.
So she I think, if we had never started dating, she probably would have never gotten into curling, but thankfully, she has actually really taken to curling. We watch it together a lot, and she actually likes it, which is great.
Now here's my last question. Can I come on the curling podcast? I mean, I don't really have anything to say on there, but I think it'd be fun to, but I don't know. I feel like I can kind of say, I don't know. I could just say like, this shit's crazy. You know what I mean? I can be sort of like the hype man of it or something. Just like that'd be as a guest.
I will call. I'll see. It's a narrative podcast.
Okay,
so,
that's fine. I don't care. I'll just
four of the episodes are already done, but maybe I'll see if we can find a way to slide you into episode 5.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but I think it'd be nice to get my sort of take on it.
Yeah, it would be kind of just because I think one thing like narrative podcasts they like to do is they like to hear someone's voice and then say who they are. You know what I mean? Like you hear someone before you even know who they are. So I think it might be kind of cool if we're talking about, there's this crazy, because the podcast is about curling, like a curling scandal. So it would be really cool, I think, if we're kind of getting into one of the more scandalous moments.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to you.
Yeah.
And you're kind of saying like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I come in because I'm the host of the podcast.
Right.
So then I come in and I say, this is Luke Taylor, Twitch streamer and occasional curling fan. And then you'll say, and then it'll go back to you.
Yeah.
And you'll say something else about the scandal, how crazy it was. And then we just move on to the next thing. I think that could be effective.
Or, and I like this idea. I just want to give it a little punch up. What if the same exact setup, but then instead of curling, I get to talk about something I care about and find interesting, like Fortnite or lore about Nintendo's Kirby. Like you just throw in something a little different there, and I get to have some fun.
Yeah, I'll have to see.
Right. Maybe you can fit it.
We'll get back to you.
You
on
could
that
put it
one,
on the Patreon.
Yeah, I will see. I don't know if CBC Podcasts has a Patreon, but that's definitely all. These sound like all things we can look into.
Right. Yeah. So, but I'll do it. I'm going to do it for free.
Yeah, that was I was already assuming that.
Right. It would be free. It wouldn't be like I wouldn't have you pay me to do this. Like I understand.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. So.
Right. And it's a kind of an inconvenience, but I just do think I think I've got a good voice, I think, and I think maybe just getting my voice in there in any way, whatever I'm talking about.
Can you just to give me a sort of sense of where we're at here? Can you get let's say we let you cook with Kirby. Like what are you throwing in?
Yeah.
What are you throwing in for and here, you know what? Because the trailer for the podcast is already up.
Okay.
So so we can actually sort of imagine this scenario here where how about I pull up the trailer, I play you a little bit of the trailer, and then you kind of come in with the Kirby fact that you're gonna come in with.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here we go.
Do you need me to play it, or you can? Okay, you got it on the phone. Okay, cool. I'm coming. All right.
Can you hear this? Okay. My name is John Cullen. I'm a comedian, a podcaster, and for 20 years, I was what's commonly referred to as a Tier 2 semi-professional curler, which means I have a bunch of medals, but none of them are gold. Curling has been my life since I was 12. We're getting to the scandal part in a
every
sec.
minute of it.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to tell you a story about how my beloved sport was almost destroyed. The year, 2015. The place, South Korea. Olympic gold medalist Brad Gushue walks into a rink and discovers something explosive about a new piece of equipment.
When we were in Korea and we tested it out, that's when it really struck us. These are stronger.
Hey, and this is Luke, by the way, so I just want to jump in here and say, now a lot of people don't realize this because there's been a lot of Kirby games, but Masashiro Sakurai, the creator of Kirby and the Super Smash Bros. Series, and Meteos, and a couple other games as well, Kid Icarus Uprising. Now, he stopped making the games after Kirby Superstar, but we can see a lot of the DNA for Super Smash Bros. In Kirby Superstar. Back to you, John.
What Brad would learn that day about this new piece of equipment would forever change how a 500-year-old sport was played.
Yeah, okay. I could see that working.
It's interesting, right? Because then you get the gamers in there, and maybe you bring some new fans and people that you didn't know. They don't really know. They like Kirby, but they don't know much about curling.
Yeah, because that was
Curling.
Definitely I didn't know that fact about Kirby, so I think that was, I think that went well.
Do you like Kirby?
I like Kirby. Yeah, Kirby Superstar in particular, probably one
Great
of my
game.
favorite Super Nintendo games. Definitely.
Same. That's one of my favorite games of all time. And like I said, that was the last mainline Kirby game made by the creator of Kirby.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And this is what.
So you're saying he left Kirby?
Well, he went on. He was then tapped to make Nintendo's to make Super Smash Bros. Nintendo 64. They made Super Smash Bros. Melee, but then he did return for Kirby's Air Ride, which is another great game, but it is a racing game, so I can't really call it a mainline Kirby game now, could I?
Yeah, tough to really, there's also like the mini golf for Kirby's the Ball. What's
Kirby's
the Dream Course?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that and Kirby's Dream Land 3 are both not made by Sakurai, though they were released on Nintendo consoles, and I think sometimes that can get a little bit confusing to the fans at home.
Definitely. And and so I think, we're maybe on the right path here.
I'll say it. I think this is already a good discussion. I think we should cut this out of this and put it in your podcast because we already recorded this. This is already recorded.
Yeah, it's already done. It's already done. Yeah. I will, once again, it's sort of above me. I'll say that. Like, I don't get the final decision on this.
Who does?
We've got it. Well, we're working with a pretty big team on this curling podcast.
Okay.
We've got Ed Helms' production company, Pacific Electric, is involved.
Cool.
We have USG Audio, which is NBC Universal's podcasting arm, and we have CBC. So I think if we can get it kind of by all three of those kind of levels,
right.
Then we're kind of cooking, I think.
I don't know how much Ed Helms likes Kirby because if I'm being honest, he's older, and I don't think he might be nerdy, and it might be like how Colbert likes Lord of the Rings and stuff, but I do not think he's gonna have a particular fondness for Kirby. If I'm being real with you, so.
Okay, and I don't know that. Like, I haven't spoken with him about
Right.
Kirby, so it's hard for me to say one way or the other. But I will. It's definitely something I'll put to the team.
What if you say though that this is actually part of the story? Like, you can't. I mean, let's try this on for size, John. Let me give you this sound bite. Now, John, I've always heard that you can't talk about curling without talking about Kirby.
Can you clip that for me?
Yeah, I'll clip that, and then you'll speak, and I want you to.
That's how I'll lead. I'll lead with that. I think that's the strongest sort of thing we've had so far.
You gotta put that, and you gotta put the head of the CDC on there, and Ed Helms, and who's in the NBC Universal. I don't know who's running that these days, but I'm sure Fallon's probably got his fucking fingers in it, like he has.
Yeah,
he's
comedy. Involved, I think, somehow, and
Okay. All right. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on the program this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, Luke. I really appreciate it. It was a blast to talk curling with your fans.
And it was a blast to talk Kirby with you, John. So, John, while I look for someone to raid, do you have anything to plug? I mean, you certainly...
Well, yeah, you heard a little bit of the trailer there. So Broomgate, A Curling Scandal, comes out on Monday, May 6th. It's going to be dropping on CBC Podcast, the first 2 episodes. The trailer is up now, so if you want to hear the rest of that trailer, you can just search Broomgate wherever you get your podcasts.
But it's not going to have my part in it, right? Yeah.
Not yet, because it hasn't even come out yet. So we'll run that up the chain and make sure that that's good. But you can check out Broomgate, A Curling Scandal. I also have a Jeopardy podcast with Emily Heller called What Is a Jeopardy Podcast? It's a weekly recap show about Jeopardy. It's the only comedy podcast about Jeopardy. So if you're a Jeopardy fan, definitely check that out. And then, of course, I have Blocked Party with my Go Off Kings friend and yours, Stefan Heck. And Luke was a recent guest on the show, so if you've never listened to Block Party, it's a perfect place to start.
Perfect place to start. And so I've been a guest on one of those. I think the Jeopardy's a maybe, and the curling's going to be a stretch, but I'd like to hit the John Cullen podcast trifecta by the end of 2020.
I'd love to have you. I'd love to make that happen for sure. The John Cullen triangle, as it were.
Yeah, the Cullen verse, as it were. Oh, I did want to ask, and maybe you can't, and maybe we need to listen to the thing. What's the fucking thing with the brooms? Why are they so much better? Like, why did it almost ruin curling?
It was a fabric. So the brooms were using like a different fabric than had ever been used before, and it just turned out to be way too powerful. So you could basically make any shot you wanted because the curling rock would just follow the broom down the ice. So you could make it curl more. You could actually make it like back up against the curl. It was pretty crazy.
Is it because it could get so much friction that it was like literally melting the ice a little bit, and it was just like
it was actually putting gouges in the ice. Because it was so strong, but on a like microscopic level. So it wasn't you would sweep and you'd see like a hole in the ice. It was like on a microscopic level that the brooms were basically creating like a little trough in the ice, and so the rock would just follow the trough. It was like the rock was on a rail, and you could just make it go back and forth.
And then the game is what you can't really have the game then, because then you just are every shot is wow. That is very interesting. That is very interesting. I mean, ice. We don't understand it, but certainly Canada seems to. So thank you, John, for being
Thanks so much for
here.
having me, Luke.
Truly
Thanks
a
to everybody in the
blast.
chat. It was a
Truly
great
blast.
time.
A great time. I learned a lot about curling. And you know, you might even see me out there one day, giving the rock an old toss, if that's the correct terminology. So thank you all. We're rating Crucified Scoob, Sexual Jumanji. I'll see you Tuesday for more chat havers. Take care. Good night. Let me stop the stream over here and make sure we're not. Wait.